Hey, welcome to Class Act Media. I'm Jack, and yesterday I recorded a video with my friend Dragonite Spam, and we played a game that we made together years ago called Wonder Boy, based on a character that I made, a superhero character I invented. He programmed it, I wrote the game, I drew the sprites, and it never really got anywhere, but it made me remember these comics I wrote for Wonder Boy when I was... God, I had to have been like 12. As a little tie-in to Dragonite's video, as well as continuing this walk down memory lane, I decided, let's read these Wonder Boy comics, shall we? Alright, first of all, they're all written on these, they're these default sort of comic things. You can order them from some online store, I forget what it is, but basically they have it's full of blank panels, it's already assembled together, you just draw in the panels. So it really limits you creatively because you have to work around the panel layout that they already have. But I use these exclusively to write Wonder Boy stories. So let's start off with Wonder Boy issue number 1, Society is to Blame. Now you see, right off the bat, this is you got Wonder Boy here, a giant snake who we will be introduced to later. Don't worry, he has a name. He's not just he's holding a grenade. And then we have Robo-Dog, who is Wonder Boy's sidekick. So let's just jump into it. Here we start in a local bank. Suspicious man. This is the most undetailed bank, perhaps in the history of comics. This woman says, "May I help you, sir?" And he's like, "Yeah, give me the money." And she responds with "Meep." I don't know what Meep is. I would start with giving him the money instead of just going Meep. And then Wonder Boy, spoilers, it's in shadow, but I wonder who it could possibly be. Immediately there. She doesn't even press an alarm button. He's just there. He kicks him in the face. Look at that action pose. Wow. Robo-Dog, see, he's got a fist in his mouth. I'm not entirely sure where it comes from because Robo-Dog's like Iron Man, right? He's not actually a robot. He wears a robotic suit of armor. So I'm not entirely sure where he keeps that robot hand in his mouth. I was 12. And the guy, he's already in handcuffs. He's like, "Geez, kid, you fight well. He doesn't seem all that broken up about being arrested. He's just kind of like, "Wow, you're good." He's like, "We are Wonder Boy and Robo-Dog, and we will not stand for crime." That really hits you right there. Curse you, Wonder Boy and Robo-Dog. God help you if you forget Robo-Dog. He's integral to this story. Meanwhile, in a local zoo, we see a scientist man. You know he's a scientist because he's holding a syringe, he's wearing glasses, and he's wearing all white. And there's this guy, I think he's a zookeeper, but he's just wearing blue. He could be a plumber, he could be a policeman, he could be anything. The scientist says, "This shot will make any animal sophisticated." I don't know what that means. He injects a snake with it, and the plumber says, "Yeah, I don't think it works." But then the snake says, "What makes you say that?" So apparently this injection automatically makes the animal able to speak English. It just automatically has all of this knowledge. It knows everything immediately. This is a miracle shot. You could give it to a human. A baby is immediately full grown. This could change the world, but no, he just uses it on this one snake and it's never used again. And so the snake leaves. He goes to a bank to get a job, but he is rejected because he does not have hands. So the obvious logical next step is to go to the bank wearing a mech suit covered in hands. I don't know where he got the funds to build this. I don't know where he learned how to build this, but I don't know why his immediate reaction to not getting a job was just building a robot. Plenty of people don't get jobs. They don't build robots. The robot is called the Hands for Snakes Bot 3000. Did he go through 2,999 other models in one night? He works fast. And we learn his name. His name is Slithero. And Wonder Boy tells him to let it go, and Slithero says, "Over my dead body," and Robodog says, "That can be arranged." So they're threatening to kill this snake. On to issue 2. No, this is actually issue 1. This is Society is to Blame Part 2. I don't know why it's still issue 1. This is clearly issue 2, but we're just saying it's issue 1. And you'll notice that Wonder Boy, for some reason, now wears a mask. They're just in mid-battle, he put on a mask. I don't know why I changed his design so suddenly. Slithero, he's got guns now. Oh, and Wonder Boy can fly. I don't know if that was established earlier, but yes, Wonder Boy can fly now. And Robodog uses the screwdriver that is also in his mouth. He doesn't just have a hand to punch in his mouth. He's also got a screwdriver. You'll notice here, I didn't notice this, but you'll notice here that the bank manager, he's still holding on to him, and he's not colored in. I don't know why I forgot to do that. And so Robodog yanks out the wires, breaks the hands for Snake Spot. Wonder Boy kicks Slithero in the head. This is a pretty funny image, actually. And he snaps the hands for Snake Spot in 2, which makes me wonder why he didn't just do that before. I guess it was the gunfire. Couldn't get close enough. But if he was that strong, you'd think he could just fly in and snap it in half immediately. That's the most accurate police officer uniform I've ever seen. No reference needed. That is what a police officer dresses like. And the story ends with Slithero saying, "I vow revenge on Wonder Boy and this entire city." And the end. Ignore all other panels. I had to write that because I finished the story and I didn't use all the panels. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't have any use for these. Next up, we have Monkey See, Monkey Do. Deep in a forest in the middle of nowhere, a crashed spaceship lies abandoned. Yes, we learn a little bit more about Wonder Boy. Apparently he is from space, because his lair is in a spaceship. Wait, hold on. There's a wanted poster in the background for Slithero, but it is spelled Slythero. And the previous issue it was spelled Slithero. Apparently we are in a Berenstain Bears Mandela effect situation here with Slithero's name. What universe are you guys from? Comment below. Tell me if you are from the SLI universe or the SLY universe. Local doctor makes medical breakthrough. Dr. James P.R. Imate has invented a surgical laser that can instantly implant any organ a patient needs transplanted. What? I have no idea what that means. What was I trying to say with this? What does that mean? Tell me in the comments below what that means. And so we learned that this doctor, James P.R. Imate, he made Robodog's armor. Apparently Wonder Boy did not give him credit. Wonder Boy is PewDiePie. He does not credit the people who make his content. And so we see, meanwhile, Dr. P.R. Imate working with a monkey. Okay, so he transplanted a liver in the monkey using this laser. I guess it just turns organs into lasers, puts them in your body, and then when it's in your body, it turns back into an organ. I don't know what I was thinking here. But the monkey leaps out of his hand and turns him into a monkey man. Get it? His name is P.R. Imate. Like primate. 'Cause he's a monkey now. Also, this woman who breaks into his office to see what's wrong, her name is Professor Hastings. That is a reference to Pokemon Ranger, because I love that game. He apparently also stole an enzyme that Dr. Mitchell, whoever he is, was working on. Wonder Boy's sitting outside. I guess either I wanted to make him look cool, or I just didn't feel like drawing his whole body because his cape is covering up everything. I think I was just lazy. So apparently this enzyme, when combined with salt, can destroy anything. I don't know if I knew what an enzyme was. I still don't, but I don't think this is what an enzyme is. So he figures out that combined with salt, Dr. Imate, who is now called Dr. Monkey, could theoretically destroy the city. And that's exactly what he threatens to do. Unless Wonder Boy delivers $1 billion to City Hall, because that's where he's holed up. He's going to destroy City Hall unless Wonder Boy gives him $1 billion. Let's find out what happens next. I am so excited. Thanks for the money, Blunder Boy. Now to inject my Mitchite and salt into City Hall sprinkler system. That is a genius move, calling him Blunder Boy. See, it is funny because his name is Wonder Boy, and blunder rhymes with wonder. So he got the $1 billion. I don't know where Wonder Boy got $1 billion, but he presses a button and these rings just kind of appear out of nowhere and hold Wonder Boy tight so he can't escape. I don't know where they came from, but Wonder Boy's really in a pickle now. How is he going to get out of this? Dr. Monkey's going to destroy City Hall. Oh no. But a good thing Wonder Boy has, I believe these are called Wonderangs is what I called them. Wow, little boomerangs that are in the same shape as the logo on his chest. I wonder what superhero I got that idea from. And it's the same police officer from before arresting him. And once again, ignore other panels. And this one is Perchance to Dream, but I could not find part 1 of Perchance to Dream. This is just part 2. So to catch you up to speed, Wonder Boy is fighting a new villain named the Sandman, whose ability is to make people dream. He's a scientist, wants to learn about dreams. And in the previous issue, I believe he put Wonder Boy into one of his dreams. So Wonder Boy wakes up. His arm is Slithero, who is now spelled with an I again. So again, what universe are you from? Leave it in the comments below. I'm actually impressed by these visuals. They're not bad. Like that drawing of evil Sandman. I mean, Sandman is already evil because he's a villain, but that's not bad. I gotta say, gotta give myself credit for that. That's not awful. And we see his ship about to crash into him. That's baby Wonder Boy. I still don't know. Is it a Superman type story? I guess that was my intention here. That it was a Superman-like story. Robodog also got gassed last time. And we see Robodog unmasked now, and Robodog's design is based on my dog, Winnie, and see, he looks just like her. I don't know why I made him a boy if I designed him after my female dog. That's weird. Now we have All Washed Up. That is Wonder Boy's real name, Dennis Hopper. I did not know about the actor of the same name when I named him. But, yes, Dennis Hopper, he is rich. He is the son of Henry Hopper, who's a millionaire. He's giving, I guess they're just in their yard, giving a check to some charity guy. I don't know why they're just standing in their yard. I guess this is what I thought charity was like back then. I thought I was like, I think in my head this was supposed to be like one of those charity events where they give them a big check, but instead it's just them standing in their yard giving them a regular sized check. But suddenly this flying fish swoops in, steals the check. I don't know if I knew what a check was, because if he stole the check, that's worth nothing. It is worth absolutely nothing. He just write him another check. I did not. I thought like, oh, once you write down the money, that check is now worth that much money to anybody. This guy just comes out of nowhere, smashes into him, says Mr. Fishface doesn't like people snooping around in his personal business. And Wonder Boy's like, tell Mr. Fishface I'm making it my business too. He's saying the flying fish made off with their $10,000 check. Again, that should mean nothing. It's just a piece of paper, a worthless piece of paper. Unless you made it blank, like you didn't write a 2-line on it, in which case you are an idiot and deserve to lose that $10,000. This is Fish Face. He's in an abandoned aquarium. His lair is an abandoned aquarium that for some reason still has live animals in it. He gets real mad because there's a recording of the guy saying his name. I don't know why he doesn't want people to know his name. It's an alias anyway. His name is not Fish Face. So he steals the guy out of prison, I guess, very easily too. Like no resistance at all. He's he's riding the flying fish. The next morning, Wonder Boy says, "So Harvey Clark is kidnapped. The same night he's arrested. I doubt it's a coincidence. He is the world's greatest detective, ladies and gentlemen. Screw Batman. Wonder Boy is the greatest detective on Earth." And I have my excuse for why Robodog is not in this story. It's not because I didn't feel like drawing him. No, it's because there's no time to get him. Wonder Boy flies to the aquarium because there is a shirt tag or something. Is that a receipt? It says Donkerberg City Aquarium. Yes, the city's called Donkerberg, by the way. It says Donkerberg City Aquarium. I don't know what that is. Is that a receipt? Is that a shirt tag? Is that just a calling card from Fish Face? That doesn't make sense. Fish Face doesn't want people to know who he is. I love how nonchalantly he's just kicking Fish Face in the face here, like, eh! And Fish Face, he pulls out his sword, and he's like, "You just brought a sword to a fist fight, Fish Face," and that is a tongue twister. Fist fight, Fish Face, fist fight, Fish Face, fist fight, Fish Face. I guess that wasn't that hard. And Wonder Boy pulls a sword out of his belt. I don't know where he keeps that sword. That hilt defies all laws of physics. He wins, and he pulls off his mask. It's called, they live in Alcatraz Asylum, the bad guys do, because I am uncreative, and I thought, Batman's villains go to an alliterative asylum. What can I call my alliterative asylum? And I just called it Alcatraz, because that's a prison. That's already a prison. Didn't have to think of a new name. We see Slithero goes to the asylum. I guess, what are the rules if you arrest a snake? If he has the same intelligence of a human, I guess he would go to regular prison. He doesn't seem insane, though. I think he would just go to prison, not an insane asylum. A Fish Face, he stabs a picture of Wonder Boy, just like he did the picture of the goon guy. I don't know why they gave a fork, like an actual metal stabby fork, to a patient in an insane asylum for the criminally insane. I guess I just thought it would be cool. I think I've read enough Wonder Boy for today, but if you want me to read more of these, because I got a lot more, then let me know. I'll probably make this a two-parter. Hey, welcome to Class Act Media. I'm Jack, and you may remember that a while ago I did a video reading some of my old Wonder Boy comics, the character I created when I was a little kid. And if you haven't seen that video, click here. I think this is where they put the information tab. But I have more comics, and people seem to like that first video. And I had fun making it. So let's jump right into issue number 5 of Wonder Boy, Break a Few Eggs. Now, be sure to watch that first video. You're going to miss crucial bits of Wonder Boy lore here. At Hopper Manor, Henry Hopper, father of Dennis Hopper, aka Wonder Boy, is showing his son an old television show. The Adventures of Peanut Man and Acorn Girl. Come on, Acorn Girl, the bank is being robbed. Let's be safe and save the day. Yepper do, Peanut Man. I think this is a very good commentary on Wonder Boy that I didn't even know I was making, because I think I'm setting up Peanut Man and Acorn Girl to be this stupid, corny, cheesy superhero show, and I'm self-aware that it's corny and cheesy, but I thought Wonder Boy was the opposite of that it was dark and serious. So it's a very ironic sort of commentary. It makes this a work of art. It looks like they were watching it on a DVD of some sort, so I don't know why it got interrupted by a news report, but apparently someone who looks like Eggman, the villain from Peanut Man and Acorn Girl, just robbed a bank, and the news says there were no witnesses, but they did get a photo of the robber, so I don't know how that happened if nobody saw it. They know he's going to hit a jewelry store next, because that's what he did in the show. Just coincidentally, there is a jewelry store, Jenny's Jewelers, that has a jewel-encrusted egg that it is now added to its collection. So, of course, that's where Eggman's going to hit. and that's where he does hit. Skydiving out of a plane. Where did he get the plane? If he's got the budget for these kinds of heists, does he really need to be hitting small? It seems like Jenny's Jewelers is a locally owned kind of mom and pop jewelry store. If he's got the funds to be parachuting out of a plane for a heist, he can be hitting bigger things than this. Eggman, he's got an egg gun. A gun that just fires regular eggs, and that's enough to take down Wonder Boy and Robo-Dog. And so they are now watching Peanut Man and Acorn Girl to find out where his hideout is, because he's an idiot who just follows to the letter exactly what happens in the show. They go to his lair, and Eggman just explains his entire backstory to them. He played Eggman on TV. He was the actor who played him. I guess that Peanut Man and Acorn Girl is not an animated show. It is a live action show, and he is currently wearing the costume he wore in the show that somehow makes him a stick figure. That is a very tight costume. He's going to he drops an egg grenade into a vat of acid. And that's where the comic ends. And I couldn't find part 2. So we're just going to live with that cliffhanger forever as we move on to issue number 6, Mask. So we meet Dr. Ferdinand Mitchell, who is studying an ancient mask that has been brought into his lab. And he's saying, I still can't find anything odd about this mask. Well, it's a mask. If you can't find anything odd about it, I don't know why he's focusing so much on it. It's a mask. Oh no, he's gotten shut down because his wing of the university created Dr. Monkey and the Sandman. 2 villains that you would know about if you had seen part 1. Watch part 1. I told you you'd miss crucial bits of the lore. But this doesn't make any sense, because Dr. Monkey, he was a medical scientist. Like, he was a human biologist, I think. And Sandman, he was a psychologist. And it looks like Dr. Mitchell is a historian. So what does this wing of the university study? Just things.
Studyology? Class 101? Look, this one just says learning with an exclamation point.
Ferdinand is very upset about being fired, and the mask begins to speak to him and says, Then exact your revenge. Put me on, and your enemies will fear the name Ferdinand Mitchell. And Mitchell, he decides to put him on. Like, it can't hurt anything just putting it on. Kids, if a mask begins to speak to you and tells you that it can help you get revenge on your enemies, don't put it on. It's a bad idea. Even one time. But Ferdinand doesn't think so. So he puts it on, and the guy who just fired him runs in like, What? I heard a scream. And then Ferdinand says, Like you care, you heartless fiend. And he kills him. The dude is dead. I think I intended him to be dead. I didn't show it outright because I was a coward. But these are hardcore comics, as I said earlier. So he's dead. So he teleports to Alcatraz Asylum, and he kidnaps Dr. Monkey out of his cell. The news says that Dr. Monkey was found missing, and they assume he escaped. Are there no cameras in this asylum? Are there no guards stationed outside the cells to keep an eye on just this sort of thing? They're like, oh, guess he escaped. No idea how he did that. Nobody was keeping an eye on the dangerous convict. But Wonder Boy, somehow he knows that he didn't escape. He was kidnapped. He doesn't have any evidence for this. He just knows. Okay? He's that good. So he is staking out Alcatraz Asylum in Slithero's cell. I don't know. I guess I just wanted Slithero to cameo because I liked Slithero. But first, I don't know why he's in the cell. You'd think that will make it a lot harder to get out and stop whatever he thinks is going to happen. And because he's so stupid, Sandman gets kidnapped by Mask. And apparently Wonder Boy knows Dr. Mitchell. This was never established earlier on. This is the first time Dr. Mitchell has ever shown up in a Wonder Boy comic. But he knows him. This is a retcon, I guess. Dr. Mitchell, now going by Mask, kidnaps Sandman. And Wonder Boy, look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Look at that drawing. You can see the shock on his face with that beautiful art. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Puts Alex Ross to shame. Now, Wonder Boy figures out where Sandman is because there is coal dust on his footprints. And the only place you can get coal dust, that's right, a coal mine. So that's obviously where he is. That's probably the best bit of detective work Wonder Boy has ever done, to be honest. Okay, Mask's evil plan. He has hung Dr. Monkey and Sandman above whirling saw blades and pulls a lever to drop them down and also shoots a bit of dark magic at Wonder Boy and Robodog. And his reasoning for this is they can't stop two things at once, even though there is two of them. To be continued, and thankfully I do have part 2 for this one. We're in for a real treat, folks, let me tell you what. So how are Wonder Boy and Robodog going to get out of this one? Well, obviously, Robodog has a mirror in his mouth that he uses to reflect the dark magic and destroy the saw blades, saving both himself and Wonder Boy, as well as Dr. Monkey and Sandman. And Mask goes, no, you ruined everything. He can never get back this opportunity again. That was his only chance for revenge, and he ruined it. This is actually kind of cute. I think I actually kind of unironically like this bit. As Mask and Wonder Boy fight. By the way, Mask is not using any of his dark magic powers while he's fighting Wonder Boy. You'd think that would come in handy, but no, he's not using any of those powers. But as he does, Sandman and Dr. Monkey kind of slink away to freedom. I think that's kind of cute, honestly. And so Robodog just pulls his mask off and then burns it with the flamethrower and also grappling hook that he has in his mouth. Because he has everything in his mouth. The story ends with the Mask saying, I am not dead. Mask will rise again. The end. Next up, the day Wonder Boy died. In a harbor, some shady characters are making a deal. So we got just a regular old night for Wonder Boy. Criminals doing criminal things. Wonder Boy shows up to stop them. And Wonder Boy accidentally hits a propane tank. And he flies over to it for some reason. And one of the criminals shoots at the propane tank and blows it up with Wonder Boy next to it. I don't know why Wonder Boy felt the need to fly over to the propane tank. But he's dead. And we see a shady figure reading that Wonder Boy is dead. And I wonder who it could possibly be. There are so many options for who could be reading this newspaper. So, the criminal, Mitchell, related to Ferdinand Mitchell, Mask. It's a connected universe, guys. He's wearing Wonder Boy's mask. I don't know where he got it, because everything blew up. But he has his mask and his cape. And, he's like, wow, nobody knew it was you. Even though everyone seems to know it was him, because they're chanting his name, and also he's wearing Wonder Boy's mask and cape. But, like, someone comes up and says, I knew it was you. Oh my god, it's Dr. Monkey. I never would have suspected that. And so Dr. Monkey takes Craig Mitchell, brother of Ferdinand Mitchell, back to his evil lair, because he says that he wants to work with him. But in reality, he has set up the circumstances of Wonder Boy's death, and he's gonna kill Craig because his reasoning is that his dream of killing Wonder Boy must now go unfulfilled. So he's gonna kill the guy who killed Wonder Boy. And honestly, of all of these comics, that's not the worst motivation. That's probably the best motivation for one of these villains. that I've had yet in one of these comics. Not to toot my own horn, but it's not as bad as some of the other motivations have been. But at the last second, Wonder Boy swoops in and saves Craig, and he says that he flew away as soon as he fired the gun, and that's how he survived. He says, "I have to hand it to you. You even fooled me for a second." The end. Now, you may have noticed, if you're a fan of Batman the Animated Series, that this is just an episode of Batman the Animated Series. Namely the episode, The Man Who Killed Batman. Every beat of it is the same, with a lowly, wannabe gangster seemingly accidentally killing the hero, and then the big villain comes in, pretending to be proud of the goon, but in actuality he is furious and tries to kill him, but is then saved by the hero who is not really dead. This is exactly the same story. I am a plagiarist. Please arrest me. Next up, we have Animal Paradise, but I only have the second part. I don't know where the first part went, but I only have the second part. Basically, the story thus far. Slithero has escaped from prison. He is holed up at the zoo and is creating a new army of hyper-intelligent animals led by his first lieutenant, Gator, who is an alligator who wears pants and a shirt and walks on two legs. Oh, and Slithero's evil plot is to release his the formula that gives animals intelligence all across the city to create an army of animals that serve him, and he will take over the city. 3 minutes left. I win. Ha 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 ha. Even though the counter clearly says 3.5 minutes, Slithero can't count. Wonder Boy comes in and captures him. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, Gator saw the light in the last issue and released Wonder Boy, who had been held captive by Slithero. So Wonder Boy says, "I had help." Gator, to be exact. But Gator comes in, and he pretends to have been beaten up by Wonder Boy. This is a huge oh no moment, because Gator was their friend. And apparently, this few sentence exchange between the three of them, like, let's see, how many sentences were said? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sentences. It took 1.5 minutes to say all of those sentences, because the timer is now down to 2 minutes. And Slithero says, "You cannot stop me without the password." And Gator has cut the password into the palm of his hand. And Robodog releases a chip from his mouth that downloads itself onto Slithero's computer and stops the countdown. There are so many reasons this makes absolutely no sense. Why did Gator pretend that he had been beaten up? Why did he cut the password into the palm of his hand instead of just telling Wonder Boy the password? How did this thing with Robodog work? He put the password on his eyes and then downloaded that password onto a microchip, shot the microchip out of his mouth. It inserted itself into Slithero's computer, and that stopped the countdown. I don't think I understood how computers work. The day is saved. For some reason, that took 2 minutes. Now, okay, the exchange of Gator giving Wonder Boy the password and then Robodog putting in the password, that took 0.5 minute. And then the process of Wonder Boy typing in the code or whatever that makes the countdown stop took 1.5 minutes. Because it stopped at 1 second. How slow are these guys? Slithero loses, gets transported back to Alcatraz, and Wonder Boy says, "Okay, but I want to be able to contact you if I ever need help." So Wonder Boy has a new ally in Gator, and I'm sure they're going to do a lot of fun things together in the future. There is one Wonder Boy comic left. The School of Hard Knocks. So Wonder Boy is walking through school and saying, "I hate school. I mean, I'm a superhuman alien. Why do I have to attend human school? That's a wonderful question, Wonder Boy. I don't have an answer." So he meets his new classmates, new additions to the Wonder Boy lore, John Murphy and Sally McLean, and they both say charmed. I don't think middle schoolers, if that's what he was supposed to be, say charmed. So the teacher is teaching them really weird history facts, but Wonder Boy acknowledges that they are weird, which is a first. A character acknowledging that something makes no sense. The other students, they are obeying Miss Coltrane completely, and Wonder Boy begins to be weirded out. This is a good setup for a mystery. Well, I mean, it's not good, but compared to everything else that has been set up here, it's not a bad setup for a mystery. I am learning. So he puts a little listening device on Miss Coltrane's desk. And while he was listening in on Miss Coltrane, the bank was robbed by a group of unknown people. This is top-notch news reporting, by the way, from the Donkerberg local news. His listening device is now picking something up. I guess Miss Coltrane wasn't talking for that entire time, but now that news report comes on, she's talking to someone who says, "Did you hear that, ma'am?" And she says, "Yes, pet. Tomorrow we will reinstate the subliminal messages." Wonder Boy realizes that the textbook is putting subliminal mind control messages into the students' minds. So he flies back to the school where Miss Coltrane still is for some reason. I guess this is the rules of teachers live at school. And, a group of mind control students come to attack them, and that's it. That's the last Wonder Boy comic ever written. I never finished that story, so Wonder Boy died. The end. So I do have one last comic that is not a Wonder Boy comic, but I think I'll save that for maybe a little bonus video down the road, because this video is probably long enough as it is. Hey, welcome to Class Act Media. I'm Jack, and wow. Okay, I see what the people want, and I am happy to provide what the people want. So, you may remember from some of my other reading my awful childhood comics videos, I said that I lost the stories. Like, there are some comics I just couldn't find. Well, folks, I'm happy to report I found all of them. All of the missing stories from previous Wonder Boy Reading My Awful Comics episodes have been found, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's just jump into it. Our first comic is Perchance to Dream Part 1, and I believe I covered Part 2 in the first Reading My Awful Childhood Comics video. But today we're gonna we did the ending first. Now we're gonna do the beginning. So let's go. So our comic begins. A lone scientist works in his lab when a visitor comes. His mysterious attacker, he sprays him with a mysterious gas. And a good writer, a good comic writer and artist would have kept his mysterious attacker in the shadows to build up an air of mystery. But no, we just get to see his face. And such should be the fate of all those who interfere with the dreams of the Sandman. Later, Wonder Boy is talking to a cop. Like, what happened here? One cop is there to investigate a guy sleeping. And also Wonder Boy's there for some reason. He keeps saying something over and over, Somni. Wonder Boy, because he knows he's heard the name Somni before. And he realizes it's Edgar Somni, an old assistant of Dr. Mitchell. Apparently, yes, Wonder Boy, I remember when I was reviewing Wonder Boy number 6, The Mask, Wonder Boy had a previously established relationship with Dr. Mitchell, and I was confused by that, but apparently that's introduced here, even though we still never actually see him interact with Dr. Mitchell. He just says that he knows him, and he has a history with him. So he looks up Edgar Somni. He finds his address. So they go to his house, and of course he's there. Of course Edgar Somni is just at his house. after committing a crime in full Sandman getup, complete with his gas weapon, his dream weapon. Of course, he's just standing there in the dark waiting for someone to come find him because his evil plan kind of stopped at attacking Dr. Mitchell. Now he's just winging it. Wonder Boy says, "What did you do to Dr. Mitchell, Somni?" And he's like, "To explain my actions, allow me to explain a bit about my past." So yes, he basically just says, "Time for my evil backstory. You will stand there and listen while I explain myself to you." So he explains that he used to be Dr. Mitchell's assistant, and he's obsessed with dreams. So he did a lot of experiments involving dreams, first on like lab mice and lab rats. But when his experiments moved on to people, that's when Dr. Mitchell decided he'd gone too far and he fired him. I don't know what kind of experiments he's doing. He just kind of hooked people up to this computer thing. The mouse is showing like a diagram of its brain, and the person showing like a graph. A graph of what? How much they're dreaming? How much this guy is dreaming? How bad his dream is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he's measuring. It's science things. You don't have to explain science things because no one understands science things. So, as revenge for firing him, Somni put him into one of the dreams he called insane. And Wonder Boy says, "Is there an antidote, scumwad?" That's a good insult, scumwad. We need to start calling people scumwad again. I'd also like to point out, Robodog's helmet is getting progressively rounder as this issue goes on. Like when we first see him here, his helmet is very square. But by the last page, like by the last time we see him, it's decidedly more round. So I guess I had not settled on a design for his helmet yet. Sandman says, "Yes, of course there's an antidote. I have to take it every day so I don't get affected by my own dream gas." And he's like, "You, however, do not." And Wonder Boy says, "You wouldn't." Like, he would. You don't know this guy. You just met him. He just explained his evil backstory to you. He's obsessed with dreams. Oh, he would. He would do that. Why would you ever suspect why are you even surprised that he would? And so our comic ends with Sandman putting Wonder Boy into a dream, Wonder Boy and Robodog into a dream. And if you want to know the epic conclusion to this, go find part 1, Reading My Awful Childhood Comic, the first video. And here we have, next up, Break a Few Eggs Part 2. I went over the first part in reading more of my awful childhood comics video. And so just to recap, a new villain known as the Eggman shows up. And he's from an old TV show. He's an actor from an old TV show. And he is committing crimes based on the crimes his character committed in the old TV show. And when we last left him, Wonder Boy had tracked him down to his evil lair in a chemical plant, and he had dropped a grenade into a vat of chemicals. So what's Wonder Boy going to do to get out of this? Well, he just grabs him and flies away. That's all he does. That's his plan. He grabs him and flies away, and it works. Chemical plant blows up. Eggman says, "You can't save me. You're going down with me. I can't kill a superhero by myself. The only way to do it is to go down with the ship." So I guess Eggman, he wants to die. He's willing to sacrifice himself so criminals everywhere don't have to live in fear of Wonder Boy anymore. You know, that's very selfless of him. His plan is stupid, but it's very selfless of him. He's one of the good criminals. He's one of the good supervillains. And so he punches Wonder Boy in the face, and I guess that knocks him out. One punch to the face from this stick figure. That's another thing. I don't know how his costume works. He's just a living stick figure, I guess. It's a really tight-fitting costume. So yeah, one punch in the face from Eggman is enough to knock Wonder Boy out and drops him from the sky. But luckily, Robo-Dog... What is this? What is this thing Robo-Dog has unleashed from his mouth? It's got a hook and a hand. The hand grabs Wonder Boy, and then there's just an added hook there to catch Eggman. It's the most oddly specific a tool Robo-Dog has ever used. Like, he's used a lot of weird stuff coming out of his mouth, but that's the most oddly specific thing he's ever done. And we just smash cut to Eggman and Wonder Boy on the ground, and Eggman's throwing a temper tantrum. He's like, no, 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 I wanted to die. And Wonder Boy's like, oh, yes. And he's like, well, you're not taking me to prison. He drops a smoke grenade, and that's enough to get away from Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy's a very ineffectual superhero. Like, if you do the slightest amount of work to get away from him, one punch knocks him out, one smoke grenade is enough to escape him. It's very easy to get a one-up on Wonder Boy. He may seem unbeatable because he's taken down all his previous opponents, but as Eggman proves here, it's not difficult to beat Wonder Boy. Eggman escapes, but he leaves behind the egg he stole, the jewel-encrusted egg he stole in Part 1, with a note that says, Dear Wonder Boy, here's a little something to remember me by. Peter Welch, a.k.a. Eggman. I like his little sign-off, like, just in case you forgot my name. This is my real name, my address, my social security number. And Wonder Boy says, I'll catch you next time. That's the end of the story. It's not a very good story. I would say this is probably the worst Wonder Boy story. Actually, it would be the worst Wonder Boy story if it weren't for our next story, Animal Paradise. I covered part 2 of this. Like, this is part 1. I covered part 2 of Animal Paradise in, it was the second one, reading more of my awful childhood comics. So again, check that out if you want to see how this story concludes. But this is the 3rd video in this series. You better be watching them in order. I know if you haven't. I know if you have not been. I can see you. Our story begins in Donkerberg City Zoo. A guard finishes up his night shift. I'm glad I'm almost done. This place gives me the creeps. His outfit says police. He's wearing the same uniform as all the police do in this city. So I guess the police are assigned as guards to watch the zoo. I don't know why they would do that. I guess the police, there's just so little crime in this city. The police have nothing to do. They're like, hey, does the zoo need protection? Let's send out one of our guys to watch the zoo at night. But he's attacked by... He's kept in shadow, but I wonder who it could possibly be. Which of Wonder Boy's already established enemies could this shadowy figure possibly be? He says, now to begin my ultimate dream. I love this one. And the next day, a news report. Donkerberg City Zoo is closed today for unknown reasons. On a seemingly related note, species of tropical reptiles have appeared in places such as the bank. Lot to unpack here. First of all, that's news apparently that the zoo is closed for unknown reasons. Secondly, on a seemingly related note, the bank is overrun by reptiles. Yeah, that's probably related. The zoo officials probably know their own reptiles. They could probably come in here and confirm, yep, those are ours. We'd like them back, please. Third of all, the bank. Like, I had a Neil Breen level of understanding how the world works.
I resign today as president of the bank.
You know, the one bank every city has. So Wonder Boy, astute detective that he is, says, isn't that strange? The zoo's closed and the bank's overrun with reptiles. The world's greatest detective, everyone. Move over, Batman. Move over, Sherlock Holmes. Wonder Boy's the best detective of all time. So he pulls up a list of suspects on his laptop, and I think this is just because I wanted to show the extensive rogues gallery that Wonder Boy had been building up. Finally, he lands on Slithero as the prime suspect. And apparently Slithero's real name is Jamba? Why does he need an alias? He's a snake. His name can just be Slithero. But I think he's still in Alcatraz. Why don't we go pay him a visit? So Wonder Boy and Robodog go to visit Slithero in prison. But as it turns out, what's in his cell actually turns out to be a shed skin. Wonder Boy says, "Snake skin, of course, I should have known. He shed and fled." Now I gotta give myself this. That's clever wordplay. But on the other hand, that doesn't explain how he got out. He just shed his skin. He left a decoy, but that doesn't explain how he got out of prison. It just explains how no one noticed that he got out of prison. So Wonder Boy and Robodog go to the zoo, which really should have been the thing they did first. Why did they spend the time confirming it was Slithero before going to the place where the animals were coming from? You know, they probably could have figured out who it was without having to confirm that Slithero had escaped. You know what I mean? I'm not a good writer. I mean, I hope I've gotten better. Read Dark Phantom coming DVD. Slithero over the intercom says, "Well, you are right, Blue Blur." Yes, I wanted to give Wonder Boy his own tagline, Batman's the Dark Knight, Superman's the Man of Steel. I wanted to give Wonder Boy something like that, and I settled on Blue Blur. I'm pretty sure I already knew that Sonic had taken that name. I just didn't care. I'm a filthy plagiarist. Wonder Boy gets surrounded by Slithero's tiger henchmen, so he establishes that he has given them the same serum that made him intelligent. So his tiger henchmen somehow managed to tie up Wonder Boy and Robodog. I don't know how they did that, because they're just tigers. They don't have opposable thumbs. They can't tie a rope. But somehow they ended up... Again, Wonder Boy's a very ineffectual superhero. Even if you don't have opposable thumbs, you can still tie him up. So Slithero introduces Wonder Boy and Robodog to his right-hand man, Gator, who's an alligator who walks on his hind legs. So Slithero leaves Gator to watch Wonder Boy and Robodog while he begins the countdown for his grand design, which is he's going to spread his serum across the city, affect all of the animals, and make them rise up against humanity. Which, not the worst plan. It's a pretty standard villain plan, but it's not the worst idea in this comic. So Slithero begins the countdown, and Wonder Boy says, "Are you really going to help in Slithero's mad scheme?" And Gator, "Of course, humans are all the same." And so Wonder Boy's trying to reason with Gator, which, is a smart idea, but you'll see in the execution it does not work. Why? Because you were put in a cage? Because that's what Slithero wants to do to mankind. I thought the plan was to make you better than humans. This makes you equal to them. And Gator... That's enough. That is enough to completely change Gator's mind. He does a complete heel turn because Wonder Boy said a couple sentences to him. And he rips him free from the pole and offers to help him stop Slithero's scheme. This is the best redemption arc in all of comics. We have no time to lose. Gator, I need to know. Can I trust you? You kinda have to. Yeah, I guess I do. No, you don't. You don't have to trust him. You could easily run in there, punch Slithero in the face, and stop the countdown yourself. You don't need to trust him. But the story is concluded nonsensically in Animal Paradise Part 2, which I cover in reading more of my awful childhood comics. And I have one last treat for you all. It's not a Wonder Boy comic, but Wonder Boy is in it. This is The Night Watchman #1, The Team Assembles. Basically, I had a lot more superhero characters. I still have a lot more superhero characters than Wonder Boy. And this was going to be my Justice League, my Avengers. This is the big team up of all of them. So, let's just dig in. So, our story begins, no establishing shot, no opening narration, not even something to tell us where we are. Not even a little editorial blurb to tell us where we are. It just starts right in the middle of the story. A group of villains is in a room being talked to by a shadowy figure who says, "Hello, fellow super criminals. I have called the greatest in our profession together." Profession is spelled wrong. I just want to clarify right now. I spelled profession wrong. There's a few spelling errors in this comic, I believe. This comic specifically. Out of nowhere, because, again, these comics, they come in, bulk, and you can't change the layout of the panels. So you kind of have to work with what you get, and since the second panel in every comic is a big whoa kind of shape, I had to make a big whoa kind of moment in the second panel of every one of my comics. And so in this one, I chose another villain named Jurassic Parker barging in, smashing through the wall, be like, yeah! And the shadowy figure's like, "Oh yeah, Jurassic Parker, I forgot I invited you." "Oh yeah, he's here. Oh boy." So he lists off the names of all of his supervillains he's assembled. Dr. Monkey, who he's the only one we've met so far. He's appeared in Wonder Boy comics before. The Leprechaun, Desmond Elroy, Tech 2.0, Crypto, and of course our friend Jurassic Parker. The six of you are the trial run for my team of chaos. Together, we will take over the world. What's in it for us? What's in it for us? He just said what's in it for you. We're going to take over the world. Are you not paying attention? And he basically reiterates, yes, we're going to take over the world. That's what's in it for you. And Tech 2.0 says, "That's good for me. Where do I sign?" And apparently he has contracts. When he says, "Where do I sign?" This shadowy figure took it literally. You will sign a contract with me. Is there a non-compete clause? You won't join any other supervillain teams as long as you're part of the Dominators. They're all signing, and outside is sitting the Dark Phantom saying, "I may need some help." And if you watched my announcement video or follow me on Twitter, you'll know the Dark Phantom has a very different design these days than this mask and robe. But he still has the hat. He's still got the hat. I love the hat. So we cut to Donkerberg, spelled differently than usual. And there's supposed to be an H, I believe, between the A and the N. But Wonder Boy and Mega Girl, who also has not been established in the Wonder Boy comics. But she's another one of the Wonder Boy family. She has no powers. She's his classmate Sally McLean, who I believe was introduced in School of Hard Knocks. That's what the story was called. But we really didn't see much of her in the story, and she certainly never became Mega Girl. But she's Mega Girl here, and they're tracking down Sandman. But an message comes in from Dark Phantom, saying, "Wonder Boy, Mega Girl, I need you here. Drop everything and come to New York." What? But Sandman is loose. And Dark Phantom says, "Let Gator handle it. I need you in New York." Yes, let Gator handle it. The former supervillain who reformed for no reason that you blindly trust now. Let him handle the dangerous mad scientist. And so we cut to Chicago, where another one of my teams, the Furious Five, is standing around, also receiving a call from the Dark Phantom. And okay, so most of their designs remain. I've tweaked them obviously, but most of these designs remain the same. I think I actually have a recent-ish drawing I've made of the Furious Five. But what is Brain wearing? What is the Brain wearing? What is this dome? This giant dome over her head? She still has that on her costume, but I've significantly reduced the tallness of that ridiculous hat. What was I thinking? How does that poor woman get through doors? And we cut to Los Angeles, Where another one of my superheroes, Tech, and yes, if an astute mind might realize, Tech 2.0 is an enemy of Tech. And he says, New York? Of course. So we cut to all of them. Apparently, Wonder Boy's in Ohio. The Furious Five are in Illinois. Tech is in California. They're all taking the same route to New York, apparently. And so they're all meeting up at the same time, which should not be possible, given all of their relative distances from New York, but whatever. Captain Quick says, any idea why Danny Phantom called this meeting, WB? Get it? Danny Phantom. Like Dark Phantom. Captain Quick's cool. He's making references. And Wonder Boy says, Wonder Boy's design has changed in between panels. Like, look, his eyes are different. The position of the W on his mask is different. Speaking of design changes, the Brain's helmet has shrank. I fixed it. I fixed that horrible design. Captain Quick introduces himself as Captain Quick, captain of the Furious Five. And his friend Lightning Joe says, no, you're not. Shut up, Joe. I'm the only one with captain in their name in the five. That's cute. I like that. He's called captain. He wants to call himself the captain of the Furious Five. I like that. It's cute. Let's see what Dark Phantom has for us. And you can see the warehouse they're walking into says Lancaster Enterprises. I'm pretty sure Enterprises is spelled wrong on this. Like, there's an I where there should be an E. Who knows, though? Maybe I spelled it right before and I've gotten worse at spelling as I age. But I'm pretty sure it's spelled wrong. So they walk into the warehouse, and he says, this is it? I was expecting more from a multi-millionaire. But some mysterious scan sequence initiates and starts naming all of them. Wonder Boy, Mega Girl, Robo-Dog, Lightning Joe, Captain Quick, Brain, Invisilady. Her name has changed. I think I call her Lady Light now. Invisilady is a terrible name. It's bad. Elastic Man and Tech all cleared for entrance. Elevator going down. And so I stopped. I didn't even finish coloring this panel. Destination reached. Welcome, Night Watchman. And that's the story. I never finished this comic. I didn't even I stopped mid-panel. And that's it. That's all the comics I have ever written, or ever completed anyway, involving Wonder Boy. And look, these characters, I still have plans for them. Obviously, you've seen I'm working on something involving Dark Phantom. But I've got plans for all of them. I want to bring Wonder Boy back. I want to bring the Furious Five back. I want to bring Tech back. All of these guys I'm gonna bring back in some form or another in the future. Dark Phantom's kind of the starting point for all of this. So follow me on Twitter at @ClassAct_media if you want updates on all of that. And these reading my old comic videos do really well, but this is all of the Wonder Boy comics I have. I wrote more. You'll see. I have plans to continue this series if it keeps doing well. But until then, I'll see you next time, guys.